Hey guys, welcome to not my kitchen today, welcome to my house today. Listen, I wanted to spend a few minutes with you today, and rather than maybe make a recipe for food, though that's always a great way for happiness, I thought we'd spend just a couple of minutes making a recipe for some smiles and happiness in the kitchen. I know some people are going through some tough times, so I just came out on the porch. Look at that, isn't that just beautiful? We're getting some snow out here. It's so gorgeous. So I'm right out on the porch of my house, and we're gonna go in the kitchen, and let's go make some smiles. What do you guys say? I feel like Mr. Rogers. So hopefully you guys are doing great. Listen, I got an old house here. That front door is not always cooperative. Needs a little love. So got the little Christmas bells on the door there. So listen, I was gonna do some recipes today, and I thought, hey, you know what? Why don't I just spend, I don't know, a couple of minutes together. We'll spend a couple minutes together here on a live and just say hi and see what's going on with you guys. You know, I've had a lot of messages privately, and I always love those compliments that people say, you know, Joe, you're always in such a great mood, and it's great to, you know, allow you to bring us in the kitchen every week, and that's so great. Hello, guys. Hey, guys. And, you know, you always seem to be such in a good mood, and you always seem to be up, and we love that. So I wanted to share with you guys, you know, like me and like you and like everybody, we always have happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving, guys. Everybody has good days and bad days, right? But I wanted to share with you a couple of go-tos, certainly that I do, not to tell anyone what to do by any means, but I want to share with you what I do that always gets me in a great mood, always gets me fired up, and that is, one, playing some good music. So when I was this kid growing up, and my father, whose name's Joe, I know it's a shocker, I think it goes back like 12 generations, Giuseppe. Hey man, good to see you from Grace. Holy mackerel. Yasu Takanyes, hey. Kala. So, my dad would always, he had this Magnavox radio. Hopefully that's not too loud. In fact, on a side note, one of the reasons we don't do the intro with some of the Sinatra music anymore is YouTube always cancels my video because of copyright. So, hey guys, down in Georgia. So anyways, he had this Magnavox, and he would have the old 72. So we'd list like 5 of these huge albums, if anyone's ever had that experience. So he had 5 albums, and he would crank it, especially Sunday morning. And he'd fill the house. It would be filled with Italian music and American Italian music, Sinatra and Perry Como and the Four Freshmen, which not always Italian, but he was a big fan of the Four Freshmen, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, Tony Bennett. I mean, you know, we just listened to that stuff. So that's why I got in the habit. My dad would, hey, hi, hello out in Michigan. And my dad would always play music. So we would go down to the restaurant. My dad ran Borio's restaurant with my grandparents. If some of you guys have ever read our story. So I would go down there when I was a little kid, and my dad would have the towel over his shoulders. He'd have his apron on. I got some pictures of him on the photos way back on Cooking in Italian with Joe. Hey guys, good to see you guys. And hi Tasha, Angelo, good to see you. Ciao. Buongiorno. And so I got in the habit of going down in the kitchen with him and my Nona Caroline, my grandmother, and they would always play this music really loud in the background, and we would cook. We'd get things ready, you know. They'd have prime rib, and my grandmother and dad and my brother Tony. I know there's a shocker, Joe and Tony, right? I'm named after my dad's dad, and my brother's named after my mother's father. So if you say Joe and Tony at the dinner table, like the whole table stands up. So that's what we would do. We would do that. So, and those were such great memories. So one of the things that I do to create some smiles and some happiness, for me in tough times, you know, where you go out in the morning and geez, all the restaurants, we're up in New York, so restaurants are closed, or, you know, they're under a big restriction. Coffee shops are closed, and all the things that I used to do and those normal things that we would do in the morning, those rituals we have in the morning, a lot of that stuff went away. So I just go back to what I used to do. What makes me happy? So it's a suggestion, certainly, to you guys. Hey, what brings you happiness? Like, forget everything, what you have, what you don't have. to me, I'm thinking, what makes me happy? What brings me a smile? Jerry Vale brings me a smile. Absolutely. I love playing that music. It brings me back to my grandmother's living room, you know, and she would walk and she was like 4 feet, 2 inches tall or something like that, you know. I think I was 5 years old and I was taller than her, you know. But she would make these just delicious morning coffees. I don't know if you guys noticed that I put a lot of coffees on there. So she would make these delicious coffees and hot chocolate. And I don't mean hot chocolate like hot cocoa. Like she would melt chocolate and thin it out. And you would basically be drinking liquid hot chocolate. You'll dolloped with like a cebayone, which is like an egg custard with sugar or whipped cream or, you know, something else that was delicious. It was always delicious. I can't believe I'm a diabetic. Anybody with me on that? I mean, when I was growing up as a kid, my grandparents, I mean, every time I went over there, it was like Italian bread with butter and sugar and, you know, fried dough, hot chocolate. I mean, it was crazy, the stuff we used to do. So anyway, so I always go to that. Like, what brings a smile to my heart? Not just my face, because that's a good smile. But what makes me warm in here? What makes me happy in here? Almost makes you cry. You know what I mean? Like it almost makes you cry, but happy at the same time. And you know, cry with joy, if you will. So those memories just bring me to happiness. I love to go through old photographs. You know, so I've got a living room over here, fireplace, and I've got all these books in here, and so it's a place that I love. I love to just go through my books over here and just think of some memories, you know, my grandparents or my parents or things, you know, when I would go to the Toscano side of the family, my mother's side of the family, who were phenomenal bakers. So I go to that. I certainly, so I'm listening to music. And as you guys know, I love to cook, and I love to make new things. I love to make old things. You know, one of the topics a friend told me many years ago, a mentor of mine said, hey, listen, when you're having a bad day, when you're depressed, which we all get, or, you know, you're anxious, which we all get, you do something. You know, do something. And I think sometimes we get lost. I know I ramble a lot. I hear people make you know, comments, sometimes not the nicest way. I do talk a lot. I guess I don't think I do, but I guess I do. The idea of doing something when in the kitchen, I think we've gotten so accustomed to get things over with, haven't we? It's like, get them over with. Like, you know, I see these shows like how to get something over with in 30 minutes. And I get that. I'm not saying there isn't value there, but I think we lose sight of the idea that sometimes it isn't about getting it over with. Sometimes it's pouring a coffee or pouring a glass of wine, playing some great music, sitting down with your mother, your father, your grandparents, your loved ones, your kids, and, you know, making some crepes with Nutella or making some kasha bread or making some pasta, you know, without a machine, you know what I mean? Like making it by hand. And yeah, you could do it faster in the food processor with your pesto. I got it. I totally get it. But boy, I'll tell you, if you just get in there and just get at the kitchen counter, you know, you get at that kitchen counter and you just start rolling out dough, even if you're by yourself, maybe you're by yourself, which sometimes is good to pour a little extra wine, but, you know, and just spend some time with your kids and start telling stories. And like I always say, you know, on our videos, and that was my inspiration for our videos, you know, celebrate your heritage and set some traditions. And so making recipes, making things that you love, making things that take a little time, doing it the old-fashioned way is a lot of fun. Cranking some music, which is great, going through some photographs. One of the things I always do, and I was doing it this morning, I've got a journal here that I use, and every single, the fig syrup. Don't even get me going on fig syrup. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. That's a good one. So fighi miglia in Italiano means like a honey of syrup, honey of fig. Oh my God, it is absolutely so delicious. I can't stand it. So in any case, so in my journal every morning, what I do is I write down, and this is something I learned from somebody a long time ago, I write down 3 things that I am grateful for. So if you think about it, we often think what we don't have, and we write down 3 things that we do have. What are 3 things that you have? Maybe it's your health. You know, I read this a long time ago, and they said that what you're crying, you know, what you're upset with, if you will, you know, or things you're complaining about, people are wishing for, and sometimes we forget that. So, you know, are you healthy? God bless you. You know, so be thankful that you're healthy, and be thankful for your kids, and that you have a roof over your head, and I can go hit a thermostat in my living room, and if I'm cold, and turn the heat up. You know, I remember talking to my dad when I was a kid, and he said, Joe, I live like Rockefeller. I get up in the morning, I walk out of my bedroom, I can go to the bathroom, and he goes, and I walk down the hallway, and I turn on my thermostat. And love you too, you guys. And I didn't get that when I was a kid. But there's a picture, which I don't know if I still have it up on this wall, but I don't. So there's a picture of my dad, and he grew up in this, they were so poor when they came from Italy. Like, they had nothing. And he lived in this house, and the house had a coal-burning stove in the center. And the house had caught on fire, so part of the walls were actually exposed. And they didn't have plastic like we have now, so they tried to sheet it up with tar paper, and they would have bedpans, and you'd have to go outside to go to the bathroom, you know. And you start, you know, again, I never experienced that. When I heard those stories before, you know, it really struck me when I became older, and I realized how fortunate I am, and how fortunate I am that my parents and my grandparents did so much to give us so much, and we forget. I certainly do. I've forgotten that, so it's something I always want to remind myself with. So certainly I write down 3 things I'm grateful for, whatever those 3 things are. Maybe they're the same 3 things every day, maybe they're different 3 things. And then the second thing I do is I write down 3 things I'm always looking forward to, because progress is happiness. You know, thinking the idea that you're moving forward, looking forward to something, you know what I mean? If you think about like the day-to-day, you're like, oh man, I got to go through this, that, or the other thing, and sometimes it feels like a lot of work. But if you were headed to Hawaii, or you were headed to Italy, and you had to go through a whole bunch of baloney, you know, to get packed to go, like, it wouldn't be so difficult, right? So if you think about what you're looking forward to, that you're happy about, it takes what you're doing day to day, and it makes it a lot more fun, makes it a lot easier. It gives you a sense of progress. It takes away maybe the ritual mundane of it every day. And then 3 things you're great at. You know, 3 things that you're really great at. We're really good at not talking well to ourselves. Some people more than others, unfortunately. So, and they grew up in families maybe where people say bad things to them, or they grew up around other people that were critical of them. So, but if you write down 3 things that you're great at, boy, that puts you in a really good mood. Because you know what, I might be bad at 12 things, but I'm really good at 3. You know what I'm saying? So I may not be the master of anything in particular, but so that really helps out. So those are 3 things that I do. I say every morning, almost every morning. I always think about what I'm grateful for. You know, whatever your religious or spiritual connection is to the world. You know, I'm a guy who grew up in a Catholic family, so I certainly was brought up with the idea of a deity, of the idea that there's somebody that is out there to support us and love us and wants the best for us. So I certainly take a knee frequently and thank God, you know, for what we have in our lives, which is always wonderful. So prayer and making some connection to whatever your faith or whatever your connection is to some greater being out there, guidance out there, is really great. Playing some music, like I said, recipes, making something fun. I'll tell you, I got a lot of great recipes. If you guys go to Cooking Italian with Joe, some people don't like my videos because I talk too much, so that's cool. Just go to, I'm not offended. You don't have to be mean in your message, though, just so you know. You don't have to be mean. But, you know, whatever. It's all good. I can take it. So if you go to the website, if you go to cookingitalianwithjoe.com, we've got, I say all of them, almost all those videos are there, and we've got all the recipes there. And that's a lot of fun. So, you know, or geez, Google and all the other pages, they're so filled with so many great recipes and so many great stories. So that's a lot of fun too. Hugging somebody, you know, one of the best ways to get yourself out of a bad place. This is crazy. My mother used to say this all the time. She said, Joe, always do something. Think about my mother, so brilliant, right? What a mentor. Do something great. Hey guys, good to see you. do something great for somebody else. Just do something good for somebody else. Even if you're in the worst place you could ever imagine with COVID or, you know, whatever's going on. God forbid there's a health challenge or a financial challenge. Everybody's going through some tough times. My brother Tony, you know, runs a restaurant, Borio's, and they usually serve 500-600 dinners on a Friday night. And last Friday they served 25 because, you know, the restrictions, you got to be closed by 10. So my brother's going through some tough times right now too, and it breaks my heart to see that, you know, this beautiful restaurant of 3 generations almost going out of business because of the restrictions, you know. So, but if you do something good for somebody else, which is what my brother does that, and my mother and father instilled that in us. So, you know, here's the thought: grab a recipe you love, make it. Now you got to double up the portion because you got to make it for you too, okay? but do a recipe and make a dish. And go across the street and give it to somebody, you know. Call a neighbor and drop off a beautiful recipe that you made and give it to somebody. Make some cookies, you know what I mean? Call somebody and say some nice things to them, whatever. But for us in our family, you know, an Italian family, especially one that ran a restaurant, our way of showing we loved other people was giving food, making things, you know, doing things with your hands to say, hey, I'm gonna give you something of myself. I'm gonna give you something from me, my soul, my hands. I'm gonna give this to you. And that's such a great way. It makes you feel so much better. It's like helping the old lady across the street, you know what I mean? So you make some lasagna, which is always a fan favorite, right? Or you make some pesto, or you make something delicious and you give it to somebody across the street. It's such a great way. It's such a great way. One of the things I love doing, I love spending time with my family. In fact, my 2 boys are going to be here in a couple of minutes, and we're gonna hop on. We got like a UTV, you know, side by side. We're gonna go up, and there's a place over here called Kritz's Farms in Cazenovia. We're gonna go get some apple fritters. We're gonna go get a couple of Christmas wreaths, start decorating the house a little bit. And my son had a tough year, you know, first year of college this year, and with everything going on, you know, certainly got through, did great, but you know, it's a different year with everything going on. So tough for those kids in high school. And huge shout out to the teachers out there. My God, you guys are going through a tough year. Holy crap. So this is just some ideas, some things that I do that'll help me obviously get into a great place. Love going for a walk, which I did this morning. Another great thing I love to do is right here. I got myself a cup of coffee right over here. So I just poured made a little coffee here. Now I have to pour it in this because my coffee cup, it's a frustration for Jura here. It's too big to fit under there. So I have to take that and put that in there. One of the favorite things I love to do, which I'm going to do today, is I'm going to make some Ove Borto. So Ove Borto is Uove Borto in more pure Italiano. In dialect, it's Ove Borto, but it's egg yolks and sugar and a little vanilla, and you whip it up. It's a lot of fun. I did a video on it, and it's also called Ove Spabato, which means you beat it with a fork. And kind of a fun last story here, and I'll wrap it up. But my grandfather, Nono, he would have this Ove Spabato. He would have egg yolks and sugar. He wouldn't put vanilla in there. He'd put grappa. Grappa is peasant whiskey. So think about putting kind of some cheap, poor flavored whiskey. I'm not a fan of grappa. No offense to anyone who loves it out there. I'm up in Cazenovia, New York. Who's ever asking there? So sending some love to you. And right out of Syracuse, New York. So hey guys, good to see you. Hi Donna. And so my grandfather would do this thing, and he would take a coffee mug, and he would put egg yolk, sugar, and he'd hit it with a fork, and he'd get it whipping really good, and then he would put grappa. So I'm like, no, like why? Why do you make this drink with the egg and the sugar and the alcohol? And my grandfather, no, I'm sure my words aren't exactly what he said, but he used to call me Pino. Pino's short for Giuseppe. So Giuseppe, he would say Pino, yeah, no, what? He'd say the egg is for strength. He goes, the egg is for strength. He goes, the egg got the protein and make me strong. He goes, the zucra, the sugar, it gives me energy. He goes, it gives me energy. He says, and he says that the grappa helps me get along with your grandmother. It's the best story ever. I mean, how true is that? Anybody that's been married or in a relationship for a while doesn't mean we don't love each other, but there is sometimes a little stress between the two people who love each other. So apparently Grandpa in the morning would start off, not every day, but a few times a week, I think he'd start off with a shot just to make. I don't know what my grandmother was doing. I'm sure she was doing 2 shots because he probably wasn't easy to get along with either. All right. Hey, listen, love you guys. Have a great weekend. So hopefully you like today's video. I thought rather than spend 20 minutes cooking something, I'd spend 20 minutes with you guys. I so truly appreciate all of you guys and the support that you've given our channel over the years, and it was something I did out of fun and love and traditions and sharing recipes with family and friends and people, so that's really what it started. You know, I certainly wasn't a pro. I didn't really know what I was doing, which obviously shows back then, probably still shows now, but certainly we've come a long way, and you know, we're trying to make the videos certainly more fun and more, if you will, more enjoyable for you guys. Also, all our recipes are linked, so if the videos get long or things you don't want to do, just hop on our website. Obviously, we've got the olive oil, so if you guys are looking for some olive oil over the holidays, don't hesitate, just jump on our website or the link above or below. And we got a new shop now, online e-commerce store, which seems to be a little nicer. It needs a little bit more work, but we're getting there on that. And just love up your family. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. God bless all of you guys. Hopefully some of you guys can get together. One last tip that we've been doing is not my idea, but you can do a lot of virtual. So you can open up a private, you can do a private Facebook Live. You can do a private YouTube. You can do a Zoom. Get together with your family, have a virtual Thanksgiving. Certainly not the same thing, but it's maybe the best thing. So it's great. Skype, you know, there's so many different formats now that we can use to communicate, which makes it really nice. Just like this, a Google Live, right? Hey, love you guys very much. Big warm embrace coming to you and your families. Have an absolutely wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. And just, if I don't talk to you before Thanksgiving, maybe I will. If I get time to kick out a video, I'll send a video out to all of you guys. But certainly a big warm embrace to all of you. And we do, as difficult it is to think about, we do have much more to be grateful for. And sometimes we forget that, you know, the news and all the stuff out there makes us forget about that. Their job is to obviously get you watching and get you on the edge of your seat, you know, and I'm not saying there's not some information there we don't all need to hear, but at the same time, maybe pry yourself away a little bit. Like I always say, shut off the TV and shut off the cell phone and, you know, shut off the computer and sit around the table with your family and friends, right? Make something, burn something. Celebrate your heritage by all means and set some traditions to last your lifetime. Like I tell you guys every week, they always do for me. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Much love to all of you guys. Have a great day. Buongiorno, ciao, ci vediamo. See you guys later. Bye-bye.